In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove even the strongest of frame protection as easily as possible. But really quick, if you like what you see in this video, make sure that you're subscribed. It goes a long way in helping the channel grow, and it lets me know you want to see more of these videos. One of the previous owners of this bike was likely a shop that rented out bikes. It installed a frame protection kit on top of the barcode. In order to remove that barcode, we need to remove the frame protection. But this same process will apply no matter what your reasoning is for removing your frame protection. All you really need for this is a heat gun, but you'll likely also need some sort of an adhesive remover to help clean up afterwards. I also find it easier if you have your bike in a repair stand, but that's not necessarily needed. To get started, find a corner of the frame protection and start applying some heat. This is where you'll start pulling from. Be very careful not to get it too warm, or apply heat to the same part of your bike for too long. You can absolutely damage your bike or your paint job if you're not careful. Also, be very careful not to burn yourself. These heat guns can do a lot of damage very quickly. Start by scratching at the corner with your fingernail until you're able to work up the edge. At this point, it can be very tempting to pull as hard as you can and remove the whole piece in one go, but don't do that. Not only do you run the risk of pulling up the paint, but you'll also leave all sorts of adhesive residue behind that takes much longer to remove than the tape itself. Once you get a section of tape peeled up, start by applying some heat just in front of that section. What you're doing here is warming up the adhesive and allowing it to let go of the frame. I can't stress enough how important it is to stay patient and go slow. Getting the tape to warm up just enough to become a bit more malleable allows it to pull up from the frame a bit easier. Going too fast or not letting the tape get warm enough leaves behind a lot of adhesive. It's much faster just to take your time rather than coming back with a towel and some glue gun like I had to. A few tips I have is to try and work the tape from both sides, pulling up at an angle across the frame. This helps make good progress while only warming up a small section of tape at a time. Also, try to pull with different parts of your hands. Pulling a hot piece of tape from the same part of your hand will quickly create a bad blister. If you can, use a glove or a towel to grip the tape. You won't want to use pliers or anything like that because it'll just cause the tape to rip. Speaking of ripping, getting the tape too warm can actually cause the tape to become brittle and tear. You can be sure that something will be in the way of your hand right when the tape breaks. Cutting away the excess made it easier to pull specifically from where I was warming the tape. It's easier to pull with a large chunk of tape, but it's much harder to control. Be extra cautious of any part of your frame that has stickers, decals, or logo underneath the clear coat. Also note that it's probably the same for all materials, but this is an aluminum frame. I'm not positive on how safe this would be with carbon, but personally, I would still do it. But that's your call to make. Once you have the tape removed, you'll likely need to circle back and remove some adhesive that was left behind. For me, this only happened when I was moving too fast and not allowing the heat gun to do its job, or trying to pull too much tape at one time. I used goof off in a rag, and found that a shop towel wasn't enough to get the job done. Use whatever adhesive remover you'd like, just as long as you trust that it won't damage your paint. Let us know down in the comments if you have any tips for removing frame tape. This is just what I learned from my experience, and I'm sure you guys have some great tips to add. And if you like this video and you want to see more just like it, make sure that you're subscribed.